How did it do? Pixar. Am I right? Everything about it is amazing. The dialogue, the storylines, original stories. Oh, that's what makes Pixar Pixar. But
Oh no, you better not belittle the name of Pixar.
Pixar likes to do okay sequels, or even okay original ones. They make new ones that simply
Come on, spit it out.
aren't that good. And that is why I'm here. I'm here to give my personal opinion about every Pixar film. The one from Toy Story all the way on to Onward. Great movies, which makes it even harder to rate. This is my personal opinion. Nothing that I say is concrete, certain, or the right answers. This is all my opinion about an amazing group of movies, should I say. I watched every movie again, all together, and it was crazy.
I think he means to say crazy hard
to rate them. And personal opinions and biases come into play as well. How are we supposed to know what is the actual good one if it's all good to different people? Art is subjective, and that is why I'm here.
Awkward hand shovels.
To give my opinion, because opinions are good, and that means you're human. Let's start from the last one. Thank you, my weird friend from the background.
He's not one to talk.
Place we have to give to Cars 2. Cars 2 is an odd movie as a sequel for a movie about a race car who is trying to learn to slow down and care for people instead of trophies and winning races. And it goes to side character spy movie thriller with stupid tow truck.
I can see it.
It's not a bad movie. It's honestly entertaining to watch, but it's odd for a sequel. And you have to consider that because they have made sequels that make sense in the whole grand scheme of the
story.
Idea. Like Toy Story, for example, which we'll get to that later, where it develops over time. And Cars 2 simply forgets what it's about. It was about a movie about a person learning to slow down. And I guess that's a good reason why cars exist, because not a lot of people can actually move about 100.
Sit down, Junior, you're hurting
miles per
yourself.
hour. But still, we need a sequel that actually makes sense in the grand scheme of
Story.
the thing. And I liked the relationship between Mater and Lightning, which seemed more developed. Lightning seemed less jerkish, even though he is a jerk in the middle. It just happens every now and then. And it's almost contrived, the storyline and the idea of Mater being a screw-up in a way that it just throws away how Lightning should feel about his best friend, because he had to learn to trust him in the first one enough to just accept him. And he doesn't accept him in this movie. Next is The Good Dinosaur.
Yay, dinosaur movie.
Now, the reason why Good Dinosaur is above Cars 2 is because it's actually original. A good idea, original, and I enjoy when Pixar does original stuff. However, the animation is too realistic in the background and almost too gummy for the dinosaur characters. That one's heard everywhere. Everyone thinks that. Everyone goes, oh, the dinosaur is just too ugly to be in such a beautiful, realistic world. I am Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Why are your muscles? Liar.
But the thing is, story moves too fast in the beginning. It's choppy. The editing in the beginning is just
Don't sneeze.
so fast. I honestly was blown away how fast it was going. I was like, oh, we're on to the next part. Okay, why? This timing doesn't seem right. And that's my whole thought about the movie is it just didn't flow right. And it wasn't memorable enough for me to think, oh, I want to put this one towards the top. Because that's what really happens with Pixar. If it's memorable to somebody, they're going to be more liking it. So,
Did you seriously just say liking it?
number 20 is Brave. It's an original movie. And I appreciate when Pixar makes an original movie. It means they're trying something. However, this movie doesn't try anything else than just having a new storyline.
Ooh, throw shade.
It's a little off-putting how much gross-out humor is in this movie. The humor is so off-putting that I was chuckling a little bit, but I felt guilty for chuckling. You don't want that in a Pixar.
Maybe you don't, buckaroo.
And plus, beyond that, the storyline itself had a good heart. I think that the storyline between her mother and her is going towards the right idea, but not executed correctly. They should have had less Brother Bear and more connecting with the mom, because it almost felt like she wasn't considerate to her. She almost was a little too angsty, teenager, and feminist. It felt too contrived to feel real. So that's why Brave is so low. But I appreciate it for its trying. Next is Cars 3. Now, I have to say, this is the sequel we needed. It had a central aspect that the original one had, racing. And it had the idea
So did other things, my dude.
of giving Lightning McQueen a better story arc in his completion of the story arc. And that's honestly what I was expecting from the second one. I was expecting a completion of him going from this complete douche to learning what's important about life and then letting it go to the point where he becomes a better person overall. And he learned and was developed appropriately and precisely. It's so low because, honestly, it's mediocre in the fact that I don't remember it. It's not memorable. I remember the Doc Hudson scenes, and I enjoyed those parts. But it wasn't memorable enough to put it any higher. So that's why it's number 19. Number 18 is Monsters University. This is a college movie
Yeah, and?
for kids.
Yeah, and?
And it's your generic college movie.
Yeah, and?
Which, I thought this was a good movie. I didn't have anything bad to say about it. And honestly, everything from this point on, in every movie, I had no bad things to say about it. But this movie was truly, not only did it contradict the first movie where they said, oh, you've been jealous of me since the 4th grade. And them meeting in college kind of ruins that line, which is supposed to develop their relationship and almost does it better than this. But there are parts that I do enjoy. The ending of this movie in particular is a standout. The ending is actually suspenseful, and it gives you almost the feeling of a horror film while also giving you a good conclusion. A good conclusion for this movie, and giving Sully and Mike Wazowski a good relationship. Even though I think meeting in 4th grade should have been the good relationship, which...
I feel like there's some holes in his argument.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's off-putting to have it so off from what the original source material gave, but it's good enough that it's number 18. Number 17 is Finding Dory. This movie is pretty good.
Wow, astute.
The problem with Pixar is they're all good. Every last one of them. The only difference is which ones are creative and which ones are pushing the bounds of animation and pushing the bounds of storytelling. And this one was just kind of run by the numbers type thing. It almost is, it's flying on the coattails of the first Finding Nemo, of which did so good in teaching how people with disabilities are just as good as and are capable as other people. But this one just does as well.
Very outspoken, isn't he?
But it's not pushing any boundaries that like the original ones were doing. So it's lower on the list because of how safe it plays it, while also doing a cliche of animals driving a truck, which is still weird because Finding Nemo up to that point was pretty realistic
As talking animals, of course.
in teaching the ocean, actually. Finding Nemo is so good at teaching what's real about the ocean that I could be a marine biologist when I grow up. Number 16, A Bug's Life. I honestly haven't watched this movie in forever. And I'm gonna say it's a pleasant surprise. It was a pleasant surprise. It was good, much better than Ants. Even though people go like, oh, Ants was better.
Watch your tongue, sir.
Not really. It's a very generic story plot, especially for the time. It was the normal, you think, you're an actor's recruiter. Oh, no, you're saving our town and killing grasshoppers.
This is me. I think I ought to rethink my life a little bit.
But yeah, it's very generic, but it's well done. The animation, however, is forgettable almost, even though it was like the second movie made, or the third movie, I can't remember exactly.
And you call yourself a Disney fan.
It was almost forgettable. The character designs were almost forgettable. But Hopper was a great villain. I have to say, he was a great villain, one of the best Pixar villains there is.
Can't argue with that argument.
Here's an unpopular opinion. Cars. This Cars is number 15. Why it's above the other ones is because, honestly, it's kind of quaint. It's nice that it slows down and shows the importance of having people not be so worried about, getting a trophy, that's the only thing that matters. I must win. No, what matters is family and meeting people and connecting with people. And honestly, Lightning McQueen is the most unlikable protagonist in the Pixar whole anthology because he's honestly almost irredeemable. But when you see him driving with Sally up the waterfall to the building, and then you have that scene of reminiscing on what Radiator Springs once was, all of a sudden, Lightning McQueen seems all around better. And that is honestly reminded me of what matters and home. Why did it have to be cars? Why did the bugs also happen to be cars? Are they fairies? Are the cars sentient? Are they Hot Wheels? Do they have Hot Wheels? Are those action figures? Can they play with action figures?
Please stop before you break your brain.
I can have an existential crisis from thinking about cars, but it's good in keeping everything slow, calm. Number 14, Incredibles 2. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Honestly, Incredibles is amazing. Brad Bird is a fantastic artist and knows how to make his movies intelligent. This is definitely the lesser of his 3 Pixar films. To be honest, it's good. There's good messages in there, especially with Screenslaver and his message of, you don't talk, you have talk shows. You don't play games, you watch game shows. See, it's like that monologue was a missed opportunity. They could have had a real Screenslaver and had a message about technology. That would have been cool. But they didn't. They had to make it almost pushed feminism, which I personally love feminism in making everything equal. I believe that everything should be equal. There can be strong, male or female, pro and antagonists. They are completely capable. But when it seems like it's forced, you can't force feminism, you can only just let it happen. And honestly, it almost suffers from that, the whole movie. But the thing that saves it, the animation, the writing of Brad Bird, it's a good movie. But it just lacks. It's a good sequel, and one of the better sequels out of all the huge list of sequels they made. But it's not as good as the original. Number 13. New Toy Story. This is a good movie with fantastic animation. That's all I can say.
No, say more.
It's a good movie. I don't like how they treated Buzz. Buzz was treated dumb and stupid the whole movie, which kind of makes me sad because Buzz is a smart, intelligent person, and they dumbed him down with inner voice. What's that? Buzz, you know what an inner voice is. You listen to it in Toy Story 2, 3, 1. You have an inner voice, and you know what it is, dang nabbit. But beyond that, Toy Story 4 was a good sequel. I personally love Toy Story 3, but Toy Story 4 was a good ending for Woody. Even though I wish that Buzz and Woody would stay together.
But
It holds true to what it was teaching. It was teaching moving on and becoming a better person through moving on. So Toy Story 4 is number 13 for me. Unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion. Toy Story 2 is ranked 12.
What? How dare you?
Yes, I can feel the hatred. I can feel the frustration. The reason why is simply I don't have as much of nostalgia towards it. I've grown up with Toy Story all my life, and I think I watched Toy Story more and Toy Story 3 more than I ever did Toy Story 2. And I'm not saying that because I don't like it. I actually really like it. It's well done, well written, and every aspect of it is really, really good. I just couldn't rank it any higher. I sat here looking at the movies and trying to rank Toy Story 2 higher because I'm like, everyone loves it. But apparently I don't think it's better than the rest. So that's why Toy Story 2 is ranked 12th. Number 11. Ratatouille. Oh, Brad Bird, you did it. You did it again. Ratatouille is written for adults. It's intelligent, it's colorful. It gives you the world of cooking on a silver platter and you enjoy it. Ratatouille is brilliant. The reason why it's not any higher is because the protagonists lack a true connection. It's almost a connection of circumstantial and nothing about them is like, I want you to be here forever because you're my best friend or we're family. It's more of, I'm grateful for you, man. Hang in there. Not saying that the movie itself is like lacking in giving a likable protagonist. Both the protagonists are very likable and very well done. And the movie itself is amazing, but that's the reasons why it's a little lower. 10 through 6 is next.
please, no more singing.
Number 10 is WALL-E. This movie is phenomenal at silent storytelling. It takes my breath away to watch the first 30 minutes of them establishing the world, where it went and how it became that way. That is brilliant storytelling, just through almost no words at all. And the only thing that you hear is WALL-E, Eve, or the music from Hello Dolly, which is a perfect, like, I don't know why the music from Hello Dolly fits perfectly with WALL-E. It's brilliant. The reason why it's not any higher?
This better be a good reason.
Pixar's hard to judge, man. I personally just find the other ones more my speed. They connect to me more. Number 9, Finding Nemo. This is an excellent story of a father finding his son. A father learning to trust those with disabilities and learning to just let them be strong. With a little gross out humor here and there, but honestly, it's a well-written story, and it makes learning about the ocean fun as well. It's intelligently written, it's well done, well executed. The character Marlin and Dory and Nemo, they're all presented in a way that you love them by the end of the movie. Number 8 is Toy Story, the one that started it all. The Pixar movie that is responsible for this evolution of storytelling. And I love Toy Story. Well written, well executed. Woody's almost the antagonist, but they make it so that those two characters become inseparable and make a bond that's for the ages and makes an excellent story and an excellent quadrilogy. I don't know how to say that.
You just did.
And if I could, I would put them all in the top 5, but there are other movies that obviously have my heart. Number 7, Inside Out. Ooh, this movie handles emotions masterfully. It takes the aspects of growing up and letting emotions take control that, honestly, we need to be okay with. Letting sadness take control and not just have a whole bunch of happiness. We forget that what makes the good so good is the lows. The lows bring the highs higher. This beautiful movie is a testament to how to make a good story about emotions. And yes, I'm familiar with plot holes, I guess that's what you say then, call them. Like, why don't they send them up like they did with the Triple Dent Gum memory? Or, why don't they do blah, 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 blah? Well, honestly, I don't know why. I think the reason why is they wanted to tell a story of growing up. And how would have Riley grown up without these emotions going through this process? Maybe the emotions weren't being intelligent, but it made an emotionally powerful story. And number 6 is Up, which I understand. Okay, I get you. You're gonna say, oh, is it because of the first 10 minutes of the show?
Don't answer your own question.
Yes, the first 10 minutes are masterfully put together. I love every second of it, and it's told without words for that whole little sequence after her and Carl meeting. It's well done, masterful. And the thing is, when people say they forget the rest of the movie, in my opinion, I think the rest of the movie complements it much more. And the more I watch it, the more I realize that it was intentionally made to be sweet for the kids to consume, and so that they could enjoy it without understanding the true complexities of it. The way that they make the story arc connect between Russell, Carl, and how they help each other move beyond what they've lost, or the people that aren't there for them, is masterful to me.
Yet a new vocabulary.
And I love Up. And 6 is where it belongs, or even higher in the future, maybe.
And now, here are the top 5.
Now, my top 5 may have a few unpopular opinions, beginning with number 5 being Onward. I loved Onward. I have now watched it twice, but when I watched it, its story is so well constructed to me. Every line that's written is paid off in the end. At some point, that line will be paid off. And the way that they treat brothers, losing a parent, those things hit hard.
Plus, the first not evil step-parent.
Personally, I'm the youngest in my family, so it's understandable that I relate to Ian almost. How much Barley was there for him. I haven't lost a parent, but I know how much I appreciate my brothers. And I appreciate siblings and learning and growing, and I love Onward.
No, really.
It also is one of the only movies where the robots don't take over, but they still take over. Technology got rid of what once was and replaced it. Technology took away those things that used to kind of be magical, but now are gone. Yes, some of it was dangerous, some of it was difficult, But we trade difficult for easy any day. Wait, I think I quoted another Pixar movie. I cried in the end. The ending was phenomenal. And honestly, that battle was better than any Harry Potter movie that I've ever seen. That magic battle was the only magic battle I've seen on cinema that was actually good. Maybe I need to watch more magical movies, but wow, that was well done. Number 4, Toy Story 3. Ooh, I think I got another unpopular opinion, maybe. In my opinion, Toy Story 3 is the best Toy Story there
I hate you.
is. And that's because, basically, it was a more elevated version of Toy Story 2. They have similar traits, but they are two completely different movies. Two movies that treat growing up and moving on seriously. And this movie, in a way, was growing up with us. And I love Toy Story for that. Also, the humor is really solid. When they change Buzz to Spanish mode. I don't know why, but it is literally the best part of the movie. When he just grabs Jessie and starts speaking to her. Just...
Oh no.
Every sequel is just as good, if not a little better than the original. Third place, the top 3.
The top 3.
Number 3 is Coco. This is one of the newer movies that really shows how magical Pixar can be. The movie was bright and colorful, and the animation was beautiful. But not only that, it was a story of family. And never forgetting those who we love. Family is forever. Not only, it's the only Pixar musical. I love musicals. And Coco is a good example of using good music to tell a story of family. At number second.
Yes, you're funny. Keep going.
Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. is, so creative. Monsters, Inc. The whole time I was thinking, wow, that's really creative. It made a world that every monster had a place. Except, I don't know about the big chicken guy. How many places could he fit? Is there a door for him? But beyond that, I feel like Monsters, Inc. is a good example of how creative Pixar could be, but also tells a story of two really good protagonists that bounce off each other really well. And also a relationship between a father and a daughter-like relationship. Boo and Sully are so cute together, and you can tell his development and learning that this child is just a child. And it's honestly a beautiful movie. It's funny, it's moving, and that's why it's at number 2. And the best Pixar film, in my opinion, the best! Is that the best? Did you say the best? Yes, the best Pixar film is The Incredibles. I don't know if this is a shock to anybody, but for me, The Incredibles is a perfect Pixar film. Not only is it intelligent with its dialogue, its script, not a lot of movies can be this intelligent. It's so intelligent, it's almost like it's meant only for adults, but is still enjoyable for kids, and that's what's so magical about Pixar. It's enjoyable to both kids and adults. I'm 18 years old. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Get a job, you hippie.
I enjoyed almost every film that Pixar has ever made. And Incredibles is a very good example of how intelligent a Pixar film can be. That is Pixar films ranked from the best to the worst. Now, if you have any opinions that you would like to share, please share them down in the comments below. I love to hear what people believe. And honestly, I don't think that my ranking is the right one. Objectively, this is my opinion. I think Pixar made so many good movies that honestly the top 20 could be changed around a little bit. However, the bottom 2 are pretty concrete. But anyway, Thank you for watching. This was my first video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And please subscribe if you are interested for more. And as always, this is my first video. Well, for the first time ever, go Ethereans!